crystal clear water. There's my bargain from this weekend. Absolutely glorious weather, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Hope you're all staying safe at home, enjoying the sun, sitting in your gardens and relaxing. Lockdown measures being relaxed even further. Too soon for some of it? Yeah, possibly for some things, I think. I think the government's trying to push it a bit too far, but that's just my opinion. On my way home Friday night, I must have seen probably about 50 wobble boxes going down the road. Why? Where you going? Where can you go? There's nowhere open. Anyway, rant over. So, filters, particularly my filter, the Nexus220. I go on online forums and you see questions coming up quite often about, oh, I've got the Nexus this and I've got the Nexus that. I've installed it as per manufacturer's instructions, but I'm not happy with the water clarity. I've got fines in the water, or I've still got a lot of crud floating about at all levels in the water. Why is this happening? It's just a case of working out certain things and getting the balance between pond size, stocking levels, flow rates, dwell time, all those sort of bits and pieces together, and finding out what works best for you and for your particular type of filter. Even, you know, the ultimate, the drum filters, you know, you got to find sort of like the right rate of water going through them as well. We all wish we could have a drum. I do, but you know, you go to what your budget can allow, and in the future it might be something to happen. So I'm going to take you through my setup on my Nexus220, talk about the different things, i.e. dwell times, flow rates, and how you can get them to work perfect. I mean, my water clarity is fantastic, got no fines in the water, and it's just a case of finding out what works for you. So we'll have a look at it, the Nexus. I'll take you through each stage, show you how the Nexus works and how you play around with the balance to try and get things working for you. So see you in a minute. There's my Nexus. Excuse the dirtiness of it. I ain't done the filter clean yet today. That's next on my agenda after I've done this. So how does this work? So water comes in from the bottom drain up into the inlet just there, in, and then circulates around the inner chamber there, creating like a vortex effect. So all the heavy particles and gunk and that lot will sink to the bottom of there. Then the water goes through, gets drawn through the K1 micro. Now this is your mechanical filter. It does do a bit of bio as well because it is K1 micro, so you do get some biological effect out of it as well, but it's mainly your mechanical filter. And then water comes through down the inner chamber there, goes round under, and then comes out into the bio chamber here where you've got the moving K1, and then comes through the grill there into the chamber and sucked down by the pump and returns back to the water. Now when you buy any filter, including this one, it'll tell you like the maximum pond size it can deal with. It can tell you the maximum flow rate, and this doesn't necessarily say what flow rate you've got to put through it. It's just the maximum flow rate. Now with Nexuses and a lot of filters, it's a case of you working out what works best for you. A lot of this depends on your stocking levels, i.e. how many fish you got in your pond, the size of your pond, and what other filtration you got on there at the moment. Now with Nexuses, because your mechanical is the K1 micro, if you push water through there too fast, the bits of gunk and that lot that gets drawn through doesn't get trapped, and it actually gets forced through into your bio and then out to your pump and return back to your pond. So again, so you need to slow it down to an acceptable level where it's not being forced through. And the same thing applies to your biological chamber, because you need to have the water in there in contact with your media for a certain time for the bacteria to do its job. So this is known as dwell time. So the more dwell time you can get, the better. But then again, you've got to think about the turnover rate, which is going back to the size of your pond. Now I've got 10,000 litres, 2,000 gallons. So by slowing my pump down to sort of about 5,000-6,000 litres per hour, I'm turning over the pond once every 2 hours. I'm not particularly heavily stocked. I'm not understocked, but I'm not overstocked. I say I'm round about right. So once every 2 hours it is okay, considering I've got the shower on the back of the shower on a separate pump. So I'm turning over 10,000 litres an hour through the back of shower. So I can afford to slow this down. Now I found when I first got it, I sort of ran it at about 8,000 litres per hour. I was still getting fines coming through. I slowed it down too far and I wasn't getting the flow rates I wanted returning back to the pond. So 6,000, I sort of set it at that, and it seems to be fine. And like I said, I'm not getting any fines coming through into the pond whatsoever from this setup, and everything's working absolutely perfect. I'll take you over to the pond. Let's see if we can see down here. I'll just zoom in. You can see down there, there's the bottom drain. There's the greedy munters all trying to sort of thing. But the sun's going round now, but if you can see in there, I mean, the clarity is fantastic. Yeah, I've got a little bit of dust on the top there, sort of pollen dust and tree debris, which is going to get picked off by the skimmer. But that happens to all ponds, and especially when you're an in-ground pond, same as mine. But yeah, so just by slowing down your flow rates through your Nexuses, but also getting the right turnover for your pond, you'll find that you'll clear the fines up a lot better. I'm not sure I'm explaining this very well, but you know, I hope you get the idea behind that. I've got a little diagram and that I'll sort of show you. It just shows you a little bit better how the flow rate goes through. Excuse the crude drawings, but yeah, you can see that the water comes in from the inlet chamber and flows round and round the cylinder where the K1 micro is, acting as a vortex, and then it's sucked in through the K1 chamber, where it goes through and down the inner pipe, and as you see the arrows, and it makes its way round to the outer chamber where the K1 moving bed is. Now it's this bit where you got to think about the flow rates. Now imagine you put a 40,000 litre per hour pump on there. That'd be like, let's say in the movie where you see them in the space and they're having a fight and you get a hole in the fuselage and a 20-stone man gets sucked through a hole the size of a tennis ball. Putting 40,000 litres through would have the same effect on any debris, any mess, poo or anything like that. It would just be sucked straight through the K1 micro, straight into your moving bed filter and then back out to the pond. so you need to think about it. So the water goes through, interacts with the moving bed, and then returns to the pond. Anyway, I hope that made sense, and I hope that explained it to you. Right, I think for today I'm just going to leave it. I'm on holiday the rest of this week, so I might add a little bit to this at the end. Alright people, stay safe, might see you in the morning. Take care, bye. Morning. Monday, got a day off, well I've got a week off work. So going to make the most of the weather. It's supposed to change later on this week, but make the most of it while I can. Just going to talk very quickly about ginrin scales. Now, those of you who don't know what ginrin is, it's when you sort of go to your local aquatic store or your local koi dealer and you see the fish that have got sort of like a metallic, shiny quality to the scales. And it goes across most types of koi, koakus, shoas. You can get ginrin of all sort of varieties. Normally when a fish is classed as ginrin, the whole of its scales are all this metallic-y effect. Now when you buy a non-ginrin, just a plain koi of whatever breed you're going for, variety I should say, and you sort of say you order it online and you get it delivered to you, and you know you're really excited, you open up and you look at it, you put it in your bowl and you look at it and you notice, you know, that there's a few single ginrin scales, whereas the rest of them are sort of like plain, and you think to yourself, has this lowered the quality? You know, as I paid all this money for a lower quality fish. Now, until recently, that was something that I thought myself. Several of my fish have got sort of like a few sort of ginrin scales in and along their body, here, there and everywhere. But they're not actually ginrin varieties. And yeah, I don't pay vast, huge amounts for my fish like some people do. I don't go thousands and thousands of pounds, but so, you know, I'm not expecting, you know, all Japan koi winning qualities. So I used to think that maybe that was sort of like a bit of a defect, or it was sort of like, you know, not top quality koi. Well, good news is, as I recently found out, that actually among koi breeders, show judges and the people up in the know in the koi world, to have the odd sort of like ginrin scalation on a plain fish is actually classed as a sign of good skin quality. It's a winner. So all those of you out there who sort of like look at your koi and you're a little bit disappointed because you think, oh, it's got a ginrin scale here, ginrin scale there, don't worry. The skin quality in your fish is good. It's classed as a sign of really good skin quality. So winner all round. A handy little fact. Anyway, have a look at the fish, and then I need your advice. So let's try and turn the camera around. How do I do this now? So yet again, absolutely beautiful day. Fish have been up, they've been fed, and a little nose around. Now, I painted that not long ago. Thought I'd sort of like keep it sort of like a Japanese theme. And my wife says she doesn't like the white. So, do I paint it black and have red and black? Sticking with the sort of like typical Japanese garden colours? What do you think? Well, I've been told it's got to happen, so it'll probably happen. Then the other thing is, looking down in there, I've put some mind your own business, it's been in there a little while now and it's just starting to grow and spread.
Good idea? Bad idea? I've seen lots of backy showers with them, with mind your own business growing up out of it. My thinking behind it was that it's helped remove nitrates as well as the shower media, and also it's sort of like make the backy shower look a bit more attractive. Now, is it going to end up being a collector of rubbish and crap all through the roots, or is it a good idea? Let me know in the comments down below. Just want to say thank you to all the subscribers I've got so far. The numbers are slowly coming up, and I'll do my best to keep the content as interesting as possible. There's a little look at the fish. Still no signs of any spawning, which I don't know whether to be concerned or not. I've got some females in there, and I've got some males. It's a mixed bag. I don't have a single sex pond like some of the big people have. 2 ponds, one with males, one with females, put them together when they want. So again, should I be concerned, or is it just not a case of they're not going to spawn this year? Cruising around, catching a bit of the sun. Yeah, he's in his usual, she's in her usual position, I have to say, Amanda. I won't tell you why she's called Amanda. And remember the hosta that I put in there last week? Yeah, last week. Just pushed it in, cleaned the roots off, so there's no soil on the roots. Pushed it in, bit of gravel in it, some feet in the water, still alive, still growing. So yeah, hopefully it's going to work and it's going to survive. Whether it'll overwinter there or not is another matter, but it's growing. And I did do the same again over there on the, sorry, is it Pelargoniums, their true names, and that lot. But again, their feet in the water, and it's doing rather well, and it's flowering. So yeah, that's the plan, that's worked. And then I showed you quickly at the beginning of my video, my bargain. That's it, it's all seated there. My Japanese pagoda lantern. Thinking about trying to fit a little LED light just inside there. Maybe on a timer switch or something like that, just to add a bit more interest to it. Managed to get myself some boulders and stick it on some boulders and raise it up. Just to need to get a few more cobbles just to fill in the area around the side there. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it looks rather good. Set into all the bushes and the plants in and everything like that. Well, that's it for this week, or this video I should say. I'm off like I said this week, so I may have a bit of bonus content for you, so please like and subscribe and keep an eye out for future videos. Every subscriber is welcomed, and if you feel like commenting, please comment down below. All comments gratefully received. Alright guys, stay safe and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.